Hey, look at these people coming online. How's it going, everybody? I don't know if you can come onto the screen, but you don't have to. But I thought maybe I'd just come online and see if anyone wanted to ask me any questions. In fact, it's probably a good time to check back in, and people like to ask me questions. For some reason, I often am able to answer people in the way they need. So please, what questions you got? I don't mind cruising onto Zoom, actually. I've turned off the World Surf Tour here. I've been watching surfing a little bit. If I go into Zoom here, create a new meeting, let's see if it gives me a code. I can put the code on here if you want to come online so I can see you a bit. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, it's better to come on. Let's see if it shows up. So you can certainly write questions, but in the meantime, I will share my my Zoom code for anyone who wants to come on to that. One sec, let me just find it real quick. Okay. Hello from Ontario. Still waiting for your questions. Marlene, I'm going to bring people on Zoom instead, so this comes out good on Torah anytime. They probably just want me on screen. 407. I'm typing in the code for Zoom. 407 600 0803. Okay, I'm waiting for some questions from y'all. So let's see what we got. So far, no questions. Oh, what's the difference between right and ring? Ilya asked, what's the difference between right and wrong? So, yeah, that's kind of a broad question. Some people would hold the difference between right and wrong are actually quite what would you say, subjective. So that's a whole subject of subjectivity. For example, the millennials today are all thinking that right and wrong are subjective. So do what feels good. That's what's right. Yeah, I'm feeling great. Thank God. My leg's all better. Baruch Hashem. So a lot of people think right and wrong are subjective, and you make your own decision. They do that in honor of love and peace, because if we can just get rid of right and wrong as objective and make it purely subjective, so then everyone gets to do whatever they want. And once you can do whatever you want, so then we'll all get along, right? But it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it actually, the right and wrong creates structure so that there's law and order, so that there's that there's peace. Ultimately, you want structure. Structure creates more peace. Now, of course, it can fall into prejudice. It can fall into judgment and stuff, because someone's with it and someone's not. So life's complicated. You have to learn how to accept people, even if you don't agree with them, even if you have strong structure of right and wrong. You still have to, you have to ultimately, you have to accept people anyway, which is learning the difference between acceptance and approval. Because I don't have to approve of you based on my structure of right and wrong, but I do have to accept you. We have to accept all people. It could be that I didn't put the right code. I don't know if anyone. Please send on the chat. Tell me if you were trying to get in to our chat, but you weren't able to. Because I opened the chat, I'm thinking it came to my generic chat box. I'd appreciate it if anyone just came on anyway onto Zoom, even if you don't want to be there, just to let me know that I got the number right, which I put on our chat. Oh, was the wrong code? Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Alicia. Hey, Alicia. What happens when you just start a Zoom code? I Like it doesn't, so I'm going to end that meeting. Does anyone know, Alicia, do you know how to get the code if I just press start meeting? Because what good is start meeting if I can't give someone the code? I thought that was natural. Looking around the, what do I do? Ask participants to mute. I don't see anything here that gives a code. Okay, I'm getting rid of this. End meeting for all. And I'll create another one. Schedule a meeting. Here, I'm going to do another one real quick for anyone who wants to come on. Okay. No passcode. No waiting room. You must select one or both of these options. Oh my gosh. Did you guys know that you have to do that? Okay, I'm going to keep that same code. And I'm going to start that right now. I'm going to start that meeting right now. Ready, save, scheduling. Okay, and then let's go to my meetings. Okay. Closing that. And now my schedule. Oops, didn't mean that. Cancel. And now I need meetings. There it is. Okay, I'm on that meeting number now. And I just lost half the people just by doing that. But I'd like someone to come on Zoom just to be connected to me. And turn on my camera. Okay. All right, so the topic we're handling right now is right and wrong. And so we're handling right and wrong. And okay, there's Alicia on my Zoom. Okay. For some reason my video's not coming on, Alicia. Not sure why. Oh, maybe it is now. Just get my video started. Sorry everyone waiting, I'm almost done. FaceTime camera. Let's see why my camera's not coming on. That's interesting. Wow. Sorry, Alicia, my camera's not coming on. Let's see if I can hear you on there. Alicia, speak up. Alicia? He's muted. Okay. So what we're going to discuss right now is right and wrong, and how we view right and wrong, and having a solid view of right and wrong is really what creates peace.
Yeah, I'm here on Zoom, and not Zoom.
Yeah, you can mute for now. I'm not going to bother with Zoom. For some reason, my camera's not coming on. But I see you. It's nice to see you there. See, I imagine you can hear me. You can hear me, Alicia?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Anyway, when we try to get rid of right and wrong in the name of, everyone should get along, people wind up not getting along at all. And let me explain why. The reason why is because that human beings are meaning makers. Okay, we always make meaning, and we're built to do that. And so if you want to get rid of all the meaning and just say nothing's meaningful and everything's just purely subjective, you can do that if you want. But it has the major fallout will be that there's no longer something that is 100% meaningful. There's nothing that, so then after a while your hierarchy of values starts to fall apart. You lose your hierarchy of values. And once you lose your hierarchy of values, so then nothing really matters anymore. And you never want to go there. You don't want to go there. You don't want to lose your hierarchy of values. Okay, that's always going to be that's always going to be a disaster. And losing hierarchies of value is exactly what's been going on in the world today, in the this kind of chasm between the. Sorry, I'm just trying to shut off and on my video. Maybe it'll come back. So, the chasm between the left and the right is ultimately that. Anyway, so what I was saying was the lack of hierarchy of values is a total disaster regarding meaning in life, because after a while, like, you start to realize life's actually meaningless. Things are only as meaningful as I make them. But who says I'm so creative? Like, I'm so creative at making meaning. Maybe I'm not, the world's best meaning maker in the world. And so ultimately what happens in the end is you get a hierarchy of value, and meaning those who believe there's truth. So that you develop a hierarchy of value, and then you and what that means, hierarchy of value, if I hold this is more valuable than that, so then we start to develop eventually right and wrong, because going towards the things I value most, I'm going to be heading in the right direction, and going and prioritizing things I value less is going to ultimately be the wrong choice. Now, that still sounds subjective. So how do you make it objective? So the way it's objective is the fact that God's at the top of the ladder. Because the whole point of creation, why he made us meaning makers, why he made us desiring so much to find meaning in the world, is because that that if we put God at the top of the ladder, if we could put God up there, so then we're going to have God as the ultimate good. Now, that there is a God is the important question. That there is a God, that we can know there's a God. But once you know there's a God, so now you have that hierarchy of values, but it's still a bit subjective until you have a Torah. Once you have Torah, so then with Torah, then you really have right and wrong, but only because the Torah delineates what's right and what's wrong. Meaning there's always natural morality. Like, I know what's hurtful to me, don't do unto others, because I know it's hurtful. It was hurtful. So now that I know it's hurtful, it's wrong to do it to someone else. And and then I got that, Ilya, what you just said. That may be a sad truth. But I imagine you're saying that God isn't from the belief of the people, but the power of God is. And that's probably a very sad truth. Ilya said, I believe the power of God is from the belief of the people. And so what happens is if you have the people, meaning if you're part of a community who believes in the power of God, you get all kinds of crazy, cool stuff happening. But because God gets powerful when you believe in his power. But it's quite the opposite when the world decides against God. So then they wind up in a cause and effect, cold, dry, tit for tat existence, and that's no good for anybody. That's just boring. Life gets boring. It's materialist, scientific, kind of physicality is reality, and then nobody wants that. When you live in a community of people who believe in the power of God, God gets powerful. That's really strong words, Ilya. Very powerful. I'm not even sure you meant to say that, by the way, but I decided to embellish on the way you phrase things. Anyway, but with the proof of God, once you got God in the picture and proven real, so then you're automatically in a situation of right and wrong once you have God's will. Just God himself, so I still don't know what's right and wrong, but once you have the will of God, so then things start getting interesting, because then you have whatever's delineated as right is right, and what's delineated as wrong is wrong. But without having that, then it's ultimately then we're back to subjectivity, even with a belief in God. So, given all that, I just wanted to see actually if people would come on if we went back to Ask the Rabbi. I see people do come on, which is really sweet. And I don't think I'm going to publish this particular one. What I am going to do is go to bed because it's midnight. And I want to go be with my holy family. Whoever's awake still, probably nobody. But maybe I'll find my wife up or something. Anyway, if anyone else has a question, I'd be happy to answer. I just nailed that one. Okay, one more thought on Chanukah. Someone wants a thought on Chanukah. Thank you, Mordechai. So, what can I tell on Chanukah? I think one of the main teachings I could share with on Chanukah is that there are people who believe the answer to the Greeks is to deny the body because they were so physical and were spiritual. But last I checked, I also have a body and I have my own desires and whatnot. So, So I've got a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm just doing a Chanukah. I'm sorry, Ilya. Next time you have to chime in with yours because otherwise people are going to keep asking. So I've got a coronavirus, how to deal with restrictions, and then we had the question on just to share something on Chanukah. So you're actually supposed to have a fusion between spirit and physical. That was the whole point. God created the world in the physical. Was because we're supposed to be involved and interfaced with the physical. Not to deny it, even though the Greeks were so physical and went to war against our spirit. So that doesn't mean that you don't stay integrated. I'm actually doing this month of all months, I'm doing a series on health on Sundays live with Rabbi Yom Tov. I do a 2-hour class every Sunday, which you're all welcome to join. If you'd like, it's on rabbiyomtov.com. You can become a subscriber. It's a lot of fun and deeper work in these webinars on Sundays. Sometimes I do a free one at first, so you missed the free one, but we would send you that recording if you want it. On the coronavirus restrictions, you can guest appear, yeah, just not right now, Ilya. But I'd love to do it together, yeah, for sure. Just I'm going to bed soon. What I want to say about the coronavirus restrictions is that you have to use your brain because back to values and economics, you trade a lesser good for a greater good. First of all, you have a sveka when it comes to corona. What's a sveka? It's a doubt within a doubt. One doubt is will you contract it? The other doubt is are you going to die? Okay, so that's a double doubt. Double doubts equal less stringency. When you have a double doubt, you go less stringent. That's the way our sages teach us. So the doubt won't, because we're not sure you'll get it, and even if you get it, who knows if you'll die. You could just have a cold. Now, what's the opposite? The other side. The other side is that you wind up losing your actual quality of life. So, is it worth having no quality of life but staying alive? And the answer is yeah, for a time, maybe Pesach through Shavuos, I'm willing to give up a bit. But what if it just becomes an ongoing thing? So what's called too long a time to have lost my quality of life to stay alive? You understand? So how long is that? And the funny thing is, the older you get, the less life you have left. Like they tell us, we're supposed to actually, the older you are, the more careful you're supposed to be. But it's actually the opposite. The older you are, the less life you have left. You don't have 2 years to give up of seeing grandkids and your kids and interacting on the holidays and stuff. It's like, you don't have that much time left. What if you just died, of something else, having just not seen your family for a year and a half? So So that itself's a disaster. So what I'm basically saying is you got to use your brain. People aren't using their brains with this. People are just like following like sheep, and not a good time to follow like sheep. Think about it. We're in the most unstable times in 70 years since World War II. We're in the first time in the 70 years where individuals have given their civil liberties up to government, but this is much worse because normally it's just one government. You know, it's Cuba or it's Russia or it's Japan or it's I don't know. Japan didn't have that. Oh yeah, they probably did a bit in the past, but or it's whatever. It's Germany, but here it's the whole globe. The whole entire globe is going into, this government power at the expense of civil liberties. That never goes well when it's one country. The globe, what's going to happen is the globe is going to wind up giving birth, period. Like we're going to have the birth of something very big and probably something very scary. So it seems that it seems like giving up our civil liberties and following instructions blindly, it could be a disaster. Could lead to the end of the world as we know it, end of our world as we know it. So you may take it that I'm not pro restrictions, although the law is the law, and you got to be careful with that. And at least in public, keep the rules. Don't make fun of things, and don't flout the law and wind up in trouble. It's not so simple how to oh, that's nice, amazing. Jesse Zalunka. Wow, he was in my class 10 years ago, Seymour. 10 years ago. Thank you for all your hard work, thoughts, and teachings. Chag Sameach, thank you. That's very sweet. And by the way, any of you, if you want to know when I'm on live, I know there's certain things you click that whenever on your Facebook, that whenever I go live, it will let you know I'm live. Because Facebook does everything it can to not let people know, so that I don't know. I'm so low tech. I don't even know what I'm supposed to. I wouldn't know how to give them the money that they would want to let everyone know I'm live. So anyway, those are my thoughts, and so be very, very careful with coronavirus. Be very careful. Don't, if you come to a point where you realize it's better to die of coronavirus than lose your value of living, meaning your quality of life. So then by all means, then at least in private, whenever anytime you're not going to get busted for not wearing a mask or social distancing, then by all means blow it off. I'm lucky I'm part of the Hasidic community. The Hasidic community kind of lost their patience a long time ago for all this. And they don't have higher numbers, which is really ridiculous because, 33 million Californians are locked down. They seem to be, they've been the most careful, and they all seem to be having very little success with it. While, I know the observant communities are having very, very low numbers, extremely low numbers, and there's no social distancing, and there's no masks, and no interest in vaccines, that's for sure. Meaning at least corona vaccines. Anyway, those are some thoughts for tonight. Should I post this? I don't know if I should post this. Yeah, I guess I'll post it. Why not? Okay, everyone, blessings. And I'll start coming on, please God. People have been asking me to come on, so I'll come on more often. All the best.